Okay, good morning. Well, hello everybody. Very warm welcome, excellencies, distinguished guests, friends from around the world. Welcome to this special session here at the World Urban Forum. Your guests, of course, of the Azerbaijani government, and we're very delighted to have you with us. Before the event in earnest begins, we have a special adjustment to the agenda. We're going to start with a signing ceremony, a short signing ceremony before the main part of the event begins. We'll be signing a memorandum of understanding between the city of Trabzon in the Republic of Turkey and the city of Shusha in the Republic of Azerbaijan. Now, this is for the establishment of twinning links and cooperation in the area of culture, tourism, urban planning, science, economy, and other areas of public life. And to complete this momentous signing, we will have Mr. Aydin Karimov, Special Representative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan in the Shusha district. And to sign on behalf of Trabzon, we'll have Mr. Ahmet Metin Genç, Head of the Metropolitan Municipality of the City of Trabzon of the Republic of Turkey. Gentlemen, please. I'll be bringing it for you to sign shortly, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chancellor. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Azerbaijan has long played a vital role in connecting West and East. Here, at the crossroads where continents meet and cultures converge, movement brought people, ideas, and traditions together, shaping a society defined by diversity and coexistence. Today, that connecting role continues with greater clarity and purpose. With independence, Azerbaijan re-emerged not only as a sovereign nation, but also as a strategic bridge between Europe and Asia. Driven by strong political will and a long-term vision, it heavily invested in roads, railways, ports, and international airports to transform its transport sector. Just as BTC and TANAP reshaped global energy routes, projects like the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway and the Port of Alat became the backbone of transport transformation, enabling current connectivity and future corridors like Zangezur. Today, with the liberation of Karabakh, a new reality has begun to take shape. At the center of this vision is the Zangezur corridor. This is not a standalone route, part of a much broader logistics ecosystem. Azerbaijan is building an integrated transport architecture designed for speed, flexibility, and resilience. And this is the unique project aligning with the Chinese Belt and Road and European Global Gateways initiatives. Covering over 500 kilometers from Alat to Agband and through Nakhchivan to the Turkish border, the railway and parallel highway are set to be completed by the end of 2026. A key component is the 43-kilometer section through Armenia, developed under the TRIP initiative, which will restore the historic rail link between mainland Azerbaijan and Nakhchivan. Once fully operational, the corridor is expected to handle up to 15 million tons of freight annually, complementing the capacity of the Middle Corridor Railway and significantly enhancing regional resilience. As the Turkish side has inaugurated the building the Kars-Dilucu segment of the corridor, this link will provide the circularity to guarantee seamless flow of people and freight. Digital solutions, from e-services to advanced transit management systems, are making transport and border procedures faster, more transparent, and more predictable. This project reflects Azerbaijan's sustainable transport policy, a strategic vision grounded in peace, cooperation, and regional integration, and a mission that connects nations. The corridor will boost socio-economic development along its route by giving China diversified access to Europe and offering Europe a resilient gateway to Eastern markets via Central Asia and the South Caucasus. The corridor also revitalizes the North-South Transport Corridor, deepening the integration of regional transport networks, expanding trade, stimulating investment, and supporting long-term stability and sustainable development. The Zangezur Corridor is a statement of connection, a platform for cooperation, and a renewed expression of Azerbaijan's role as a trusted and strategic transit hub across Eurasia. Azerbaijan, where connections come together.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, another very warm welcome to this special session at the World Urban Forum, hosted by the government of Azerbaijan, entitled Heart of Connectivity, Urban Reconstruction and Regional Cooperation. Connectivity, of course, no longer simply about transport routes or trade corridors, but more about infrastructure, energy systems, digital networks, and great planning coming together to create something much more powerful, resilient, livable, and economically dynamic cities. And nowhere is that more visible than here in Azerbaijan. Well, we're fortunate to be joined today by an exceptional group of speakers who bring global perspectives, practical experience, and of course, strategic insight. Let me begin by welcoming our high-level speakers to the stage, and then I will invite the opening remarks. First, we're honoured to be joined by Mr. Ceyhun Bayramov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Sir. We're also honoured to be joined by Mr. Anil Guliev, Chairman of the State Committee on Urban Planning and Architecture. Mr. Guliev. And we'll also be hearing from three key government ministers whose portfolios sit at the heart of this transformation. Mr. Mikhail Jabarov, Azerbaijan's Minister of Economy. Mr. Rashad Nabiev, Minister of Digital Development and Transport for Azerbaijan. And Mr. Parviz Shahbazov, Azerbaijan's Minister of Energy. And of course, we're also very honoured to be joined by Ms. Anna Claudia Rosbach, Executive Director of UN Habitat and United Nations and Under Secretary General. Thank you so much. Good to see you again. Just next to the Minister on the end, if that's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. And to begin proceedings, I'm now going to ask Minister Baramov to come and give his opening remarks. Minister.
Madam Executive Director, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to address this important session of the World Urban Forum dedicating to positioning cities at the center of connectivity, urban reconstruction, and regional cooperation. Today, cities are no longer only places where people live and work. Increasingly, they are becoming strategic platforms where diplomacy, trade, infrastructure, technology, climate action, and regional cooperation intersect. The future of sustainable development will largely depend on how successfully we connect our cities, not only physically, but also economically, digitally, institutionally, and socially. Almost 2 years ago, as the host of COP29, Azerbaijan placed urbanization, including cities, at the heart of the global climate agenda. We recognized that cities, while contributing significantly to global emissions, are also key drivers of innovation, resilience, and solutions to the climate crisis. Through these efforts, Azerbaijan also managed to build synergies between the COP and the WUF processes, bringing cities more firmly into the center of multilateral discussions. Dear colleagues, situated at the crossroads of East and West and North and South, Azerbaijan has transformed its geographical position into a strategic advantage. We increasingly see our role not merely as a transit country, but as a hub for regional integration, sustainable urban development, and interregional cooperation. Our experience demonstrates that connectivity, infrastructure, and urban development are deeply interconnected. Modern transport corridors influence settlement patterns, industrial development, labor mobility, investment flows, housing demand, and climate resilience. At the same time, sustainable and well-planned cities are essential for ensuring long-term economic and social benefits. It is precisely from this perspective that Azerbaijan has embarked on large-scale reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts across deliberated territories. Entire cities, towns, and villages are being rebuilt from scratch based on principles of sustainability, smart governance, green energy, climate resilience, and human-centered urban planning. This process goes beyond rebuilding houses and roads. It is about transforming former conflict zones into centers of economic growth, connectivity, and human development. At the same time, the large-scale reconstruction projects and resettlement in the liberated territories in the immediate aftermath of the conflict is a clear sign of Azerbaijan's commitment to peace agenda. By investing close to $15 billion in the former conflict zone, Azerbaijan has also demonstrated its genuine interest in closing the chapter of confrontation in the region. In other words, massive post-conflict reconstruction efforts of Azerbaijan should also be seen as an integral part of our peace-building strategy. This is the strategy of breaking the cycle of violence and building a better, prosperous future for all. Following the determined stance and actions of Azerbaijan, the South Caucasus is moving from decades of instability toward a genuine opportunity for peace and cooperation. The end of the long-standing conflict and the full restoration of Azerbaijan's sovereignty and territorial integrity have reshaped regional dynamics, removed a major threat to peace and security, and created new prospects for regional cooperation, trade, connectivity, and economic development. In this context, the bilateral normalization process with Armenia, launched by Azerbaijan, provides a strong foundation for further advancing regional cooperation, trade, and connectivity for the mutual benefit of all countries in the region. The Washington Peace Summit of 8 August 2025 marked with historic outcomes. The joint declaration of the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia, also signed as a witness by President Donald Trump of the United States of America, and initialing of the bilateral Azerbaijan-Armenia agreement on establishment of peace and interstate relations, established de facto peace between the two sides and set a stage for subsequent tangible steps in confidence building and economic interaction. Azerbaijan remains committed to advancing this process with patience, responsibility, and a clear focus on achieving full, sustainable, and irreversible normalization. At the same time, Azerbaijan's efforts to rebuild and transform the liberated territories into centers of development, prosperity, and connectivity continue to face serious man-made challenges, most notably the threat posed by landmines. Landmines remain the greatest obstacle to reconstruction, economic activity, agricultural development, and the safe return and movement of people. Official estimates indicate the presence of more than 1.5 million landmines and unexploded ordnance in the liberated territories. Since the end of the conflict, hundreds of civilians and demining personnel have fallen victim to mine explosions. Demining, therefore, remains one of Azerbaijan's highest national priorities and an essential prerequisite for sustainable recovery, long-term regional stability, and regional connectivity. Ladies and gentlemen, reconstruction is not only about rebuilding physical infrastructure, it is also about reconnecting communities and industrial zones, restoring economic opportunities, and creating conditions for long-term peace and cooperation. New transport corridors, railways, highways, energy infrastructure, and digital networks are integrating reconstruction areas into wider regional and international economic systems. These investments promote mobility, trade, investment, tourism, and job creation, while also strengthening regional interdependence and long-term stability. In this regard, their impact extends well beyond the borders of Azerbaijan, enhancing connectivity between Asia and Europe and contributing to broader regional economic growth and cooperation. Building upon its internationally recognized roles as a key enabler of Trans-Caspian Middle Corridor and North-South Corridor, Azerbaijan consistently promotes multimodal connectivity agenda, also as a part of post-conflict strategy. The August 2025 Washington Declaration has set the stage for the Trump route for international peace and prosperity, which will not only ensure unimpeded multimodal connectivity between the main part of Azerbaijan and its Nakhchivan region, but will also establish a new strategic connectivity line linking Asia and Europe through railroad, highway, energy pipelines, and electricity and fiber optic cables. In parallel, the Horadiz-Aghband Railway and Turkey's new Kars-Igdir-Dilucu line will complement the Zangezur corridor, strengthening regional connectivity and enhancing links between Asia and Europe. Our vision is not limited to conventional transport infrastructure. We are also developing green energy corridors, renewable electricity transmission systems, energy storage infrastructure, and advanced fiber optic connectivity projects, including the Digital Silkway Initiative, aiming to establish a telecommunications corridor between Europe and Asia. I believe that my colleagues, the distinguished ministers responsible for these projects, will elaborate further on their details during their respective remarks. Excellencies, as we look ahead, I want to underline that Azerbaijan remains committed to advancing dialogue, partnerships, and practical cooperation that position cities at the center of sustainable connectivity, economic growth, resilient development, and regional cooperation. We believe that through stronger cross-border cooperation, enabling policy frameworks, and integrated urban planning, cities can become not only engines of trade and growth, but also pathways toward peace, resilience, and shared prosperity. I thank you for your attention and wish you all successful and constructive deliberations ahead.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. I'd now like to call to the podium the Executive Director of UN Habitat, Anna Claudia Rosbach.
Excellencies, ministers, distinguished guests, thank you, Minister Bayramov, for sharing the strategic relevance of urban reconstruction and regional connectivity. Let me begin with a provocation. We live in an age of extraordinary connectivity. Goods across continents in days. Data moves in milliseconds. Entire regions are being reshaped by new transport corridors, energy networks, and digital infrastructure. And yet, nearly 2.8 billion people lack access to safe, adequate housing. Millions more are displaced by conflict or climate. The world is more connected than ever, and yet, too often, more unequal than it needs to be. This is the paradox this session must confront, because connectivity without inclusion and a wider socioeconomic vision is simply a fast infrastructure that benefits few. Multimodal corridors do more than move goods and people efficiently. They restructured the economic geography of entire regions. The strategic corridors that are being currently developed to connect the African continent to Europe and across Asia are among the most consequential infrastructure investments of our time, and a vivid illustration of this dynamic. As these integrated investments accelerate along the so-called Middle Corridor, stretching from China through Central Asia, the Caspian, Azerbaijan, and onward to Europe, cities positioned along it gain real opportunities to diversify their economies, attracting green industry, advanced logistics services, agri-processing, and digital enterprise. Secondary cities become genuine economic actors, not just transit stops. This is where UN Habitat's work on urban-rural linkages becomes directly relevant. Connectivity corridors reshape the ties between urban centers and their surrounding territories, the towns, the villages, agricultural zones, and landscapes that form a functional region. When those linkages are built into planning from the start, rural communities gain access to markets and services, and cities benefit from the food systems, water resources, and labor that sustain them. The corridor becomes a development spine for an entire territory, and not just a transit route. UN Habitat's approach to territorial planning starts from this premise. Sustainable urbanization is inseparable from the vitality of the rural areas that surround and sustain cities. When we plan cities, we must plan entire territories. When we invest in transport corridors, we must also invest in the communities along them, their housing, their markets, their services, their land, their livelihoods. Nowhere is this more urgent than in post-conflict reconstruction. Azerbaijan's reconstruction efforts in the Karabakh and East Zangezur economic regions is grappling with exactly these challenges at real scale. What struck me during my visit in October, during the last National Urban Forum, is the ambition to integrate housing, public services, digital connectivity, and green energy networks into a coherent territorial vision. Not to rebuild cities and towns in isolation, but to restore a functioning human geography. The same ambition must extend beyond reconstruction. Whether we are speaking of emerging regional corridors, power, or digital networks, the cities and rural communities along these routes must be treated as assets to be invested in, not mere territories to be crossed. Excellencies, this session convened by WUF13's fantastic host country carries a particular weight. I look forward with genuine interest to hearing what our panelists will bring to this conversation, and above all, to the commitments that will emerge as its outcome. Thank you very much.
Executive Director, thank you very much indeed. We'll now call on Mr. Anar Guliev, Chairman of the State Committee on Urban Planning and Architecture, to outline his opening remarks.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking a lot about post-disaster, post-conflict recovery, its role. Azerbaijan's examples were mentioned several times this morning as well. So I'll take this opportunity to take you through some details of the post-conflict recovery program Azerbaijan implementing. Since more than 5 years, Azerbaijan has been implementing one of the largest and most comprehensive reconstruction efforts in the region in the recent history, transforming territories that once suffered devastation into resilient, inclusive, and future-oriented urban and rural communities. For nearly 3 decades, about 20% of the internationally recognized territory of Azerbaijan remained under occupation. During this period, hundreds of cities, towns, and villages were destroyed, critical infrastructure was devastated, cultural heritage sites suffered irreversible damage, and more than 1 million Azerbaijanis were displaced from their homes. Since the liberation of the territories in 2020, Azerbaijan has entered a fundamentally new phase focused on reconstruction, reintegration, and sustainable regional development. The scale of destruction in the liberated territories was unprecedented. More than 900 settlements were affected. Entire urban system ceased to function. On the screen you can see the city of Agdam. Once a vibrant regional center, became one of the most visible, so certainly not the only examples of devastation in the liberated territories. From the very beginning, Azerbaijan acknowledged that such a large-scale recovery process requires strong institutional coordination and strategic governance. For the reason, a coordination headquarters was established under the leadership of the Chief of the Presidential Administration to oversee all reconstruction and recovery efforts in the liberated territories. The mechanism brings together all relevant government institutions, ensuring effective interagency cooperation, continuous monitoring, and coordinated implementation of projects on the ground. Before reconstruction could begin, ensuring safety on the ground became the most urgent national priority. In this regard, demining of the territories is a crucial step toward restoring mobility, enabling reconstruction, supporting the safe return of the communities, and creating the foundation for sustainable economic activity. The liberated territories remain among the most heavily mine-contaminated areas in the world, with more than 900,000 hectares affected by mines and unexploded ordnance. According to estimates, approximately 1.5 million mines were planned across the region. Since November 2020, more than 262,000 hectares have been cleared, and over 246,000 mines and unexploded weapons have been neutralized through large-scale demining operations. In parallel with reconstruction efforts, Azerbaijan introduced a new governance model for post-conflict territories. Special representatives of Mr. President were appointed across the liberated territories to ensure effective local coordination and accelerate the implementation of strategic priorities on the ground. This model created a direct and flexible management mechanism capable of responding quickly to the complex challenges of reconstruction and resettlement. Today, special representatives coordinate the activities of public institutions, oversee development projects, support entrepreneurship, facilitate construction process, and contribute to the implementation of long-term settlement strategies. An integrated institutional framework became one of the defining features of Azerbaijan reconstruction strategy. In addition to its traditional spatial planning responsibilities, The State Committee on Urban Planning and Architecture was entrusted with broader regulatory and implementation functions within the liberated territories. This approach allowed planning and allocation of permitting procedures and construction oversight to operate with the unified governance system. The Great Return State Program represents the central strategic framework guiding reconstruction and resettlement efforts in the liberated territories. Approved in 2022, the program provides a comprehensive roadmap for rebuilding cities and villages, restoring infrastructure, creating employment opportunities, and establishing sustainable living conditions for returning communities. To ensure that reconstruction follows a coherent and future-oriented vision, we developed a comprehensive general plan for the liberated territories. Approved in 2022, the plan serves as a principal, special, and strategic framework guiding development across two of economic regions of Azerbaijan, Karabakh and East Zangezur. This document integrates urban planning, infrastructure, environmental management, resource allocation, energy systems, industrial development, and demographic forecasting into a single coordinated development framework. The liberated territories cover approximately 13,600 square kilometers and includes 12 cities as well as nearly 300 villages and settlements with the projected population of around 1.1 million people. The general plan therefore established a coordinated framework linking urban development, transport infrastructure, economic activity, environmental systems, and rural settlements across Karabakh and East Zangezur. The development of modern transport infrastructure is one of the key priorities of the reconstruction process. Currently, road projects covering more than 3,800 kilometers are being implemented across the liberated territories, together with 48 tunnels, 500 bridges, and 16 viaducts. In parallel, 2 new railway lines with a total length exceeding 150 kilometers and 3 international airports are strengthening regional and international connectivity. The liberated territories have been designated as a green energy zone, reflecting Azerbaijan's commitment to sustainable development and climate-conscious reconstruction. The regional processes significant renewable energy potential, particularly in hydropower, solar, and wind energy. Overall potential of the region is estimated as 10 gigawatts. Hydroelectric power plants with combined capacity exceeding 300 megawatts are already operating, while 3 solar power plants with total capacity of 340 megawatts are under construction. Efficient water management plays a strategic role in supporting sustainable regional development and national water security. The strategic plan includes 9 water reservoirs with a total capacity exceeding 860 million cubic meters, creating significant opportunities for agricultural development and irrigation. These resources are expected to support water supply for more than 600,000 hectares of cultivated land across the country. Economic revitalization is an essential component of the reconstruction process. 2 industrial parks with total area of 400 hectares have already been established in Agdam and Jabrail. Today, more than 50 residence companies are operating or implementing projects within these zones with total investment exceeding $282 million. Local economy on the liberated areas is currently focused on construction, materials, manufacturing, food production, logistics, tourism, retail, and commercial development, while also creating thousands of new employment opportunities. The restoration of cultural heritage is an important part of the reconstruction agenda. More than 750 registered historical and cultural monuments are located within the liberated territories, many of which suffered serious damage over the past decades. To date, more than 20 monuments have already been restored, while new memorial complexes, museums, and cultural institutions are currently being designed and developed. Urban planning plays a central role in shaping the future development of the liberated territories. Master plans for 8 cities have already been approved, while the plans for 4 additional cities are currently being finalized. The total planned urban area of the liberated territories exceeds 10,000 hectares, with the project population exceeding 354,000 people by 2040. The planning approach for the liberated cities is based on long-term phased and integrated development principles. On example of Agdam master plan, you can see that each master plan is designed with a 20-year development perspective and incorporates population growth forecast, density strategies, mobility systems, workplace distribution, and linked green infrastructure. Agdam is being redeveloped as one of the principal economic and urban centers of the liberated territories. According to the master plan, the city is designated for a population of 100,000 people and covers an area of nearly 2,000 hectares. The development framework includes more than 3 million square meters of residential floor area, a 200-hectare industrial park integrated within the city structure further strengthens Agdam's role as a future regional economic hub. The master plan of Agdam is based on the creation of a modern, well-connected and people-oriented urban environment. In the first phase of development, 5 residential neighborhoods have been designed and 3 of them are under construction. Almost 6,000 apartments in these residential complexes will solve housing problem of more than 22,000 people affected by the conflict. Implementation of the Agdam master plan is already actively underway. The first completed residential neighborhood includes more than 1,200 apartments designed to support the return of former residents and create modern living conditions within the city. At the same time, strategic infrastructure projects such as the railway and transport hub are strengthening regional connectivity and supporting future economic activity. New Mugam Center is dedicated to Azerbaijani national musical genre, which is very deeply linked with the Karabakh region. Secondary school for 960 students is on site to give quality education to city's young generation. New hotels are contributing to the development of tourism and business activity within the region. Historical landmark, 18th century Imarat complex, was carefully restored as part of broader cultural preservation efforts. Embraced by greenery, city of Zengilan is being developed as a park city, model focused on environmental sustainability and high-quality urban living. The city is planned for a population of 16,000 people and covers an area of more than 333 hectares, including over 70 hectares of public parks and green spaces integrated in the urban structure. The master plan of Zengilan is designed around compact development patterns, connected neighborhoods, and extensive green infrastructure. Residential zones, administrative functions, and public spaces are organized to create a balanced and accessible urban environment that supports community interaction and sustainable mobility. Zengilan is already delivering new residential and social infrastructure. The first residential neighborhood, including 104 apartments, has already welcomed its residents. The neighborhood, alongside the nearby school, prioritizes accessibility and community-oriented urban environments. New public, religious, and cultural facilities are also being developed in Zengilan. Zengilan Congress Center is intended to support business activity, public events, and regional cooperation initiatives. This venue already hosted National Urban Forum of Azerbaijan, as well as several other international events. Construction of a new mosque alongside restoration of the historical one reflects the importance placed on cultural continuity and community identity within the reconstruction process. Shusha occupies a special place within Azerbaijan's historical culture and urban heritage. The city is planned for a population of 25,000 people and covers an area of nearly 390 hectares, including dedicated tourism and cultural development zones. As the cultural capital of Azerbaijan, Shusha is being restored with particular attention to historical preservation, tourism development, and the revitalization of cultural life. The urban development strategy for Shusha is based on respecting the city's historical urban structure and introducing modern public, business, and residential zones. Key projects include the revitalization of the historical high street, the development of Victory Museum, and construction of modern residential neighborhoods integrated into existing urban landscape. Implemented projects in Shusha already include new residential development. The first residential neighborhood, consisting of 450 apartments, has been completed and accommodated more than 1,400 people. At the same time, restoration works have been completed at important historical sites, including the Yukharigyo Faraga Mosque. New hospitality facilities such as the 5-star Shusha Hotel contribute to the development of tourism infrastructure. Our next city, Kalbajar, is being developed as a wellness and ecotourism destination based on its rich natural resources, mountainous landscapes, and recreational potential. The city is planned for a population of 17,000 people and covers an area of more than 290 hectares, including dedicated tourism and healthcare development zones. The master plan provides healthcare and wellness facilities with projected capacity exceeding 300 beds. The city is situated on plateau on the altitude more than 1,500 meters. The urban development concept for Kalbajar focuses on the integration of natural landscapes, tourism infrastructure, and high-quality public spaces. Public spaces and community-oriented infrastructure are key components of Kalbajar's development. Projects such as the city park and the administrative complex are intended to strengthen social interaction and improve the quality of urban life. The implementation phase of Kalbajar has already begun with the development of the first residential neighborhood. It's the first project which introduced the architectural style that will set the tone for new image of the city. The buildings with unique style is the educational complex in Kalbajar. It will have preschool, secondary school, and vocational school facilities in the heart of the city. Apart from being a new landmark of the city, this project is the important investment in the future of the city. The reconstruction of rural areas is being implemented through the cluster-based planning approach introduced within the general plan framework. Under this model, nearly 900 villages are being reorganized into approximately 300 modern rural settlements, supported by integrated infrastructure, efficient land use, and improved public services. To date, master plans for 101 rural settlements have already been approved, covering a total area of more than 14,000 hectares and projected population exceeding 180,000 people. Rural reconstruction is designed around the creation of modern, sustainable, and well-connected living environments, adapted to local geographic and social conditions. Each settlement follows an individual architectural and spatial concept, reflecting its landscape, historical context, and long-term development potential. The broader objective is to create sustainable rural settlements well linked with agricultural activities and capable of demonstrating long-term growth. Rural reconstruction are already delivering tangible results across the liberated territories. To date, more than 4,700 houses have been delivered in 30 villages and 3 towns, supporting the gradual return of residents to rural areas. Apart from housing, every village project includes education, healthcare, and administrative building, new road network, full range of communications, including broadband internet connection. Nearly 20,000 people are currently living in rural areas of the liberated territories. Construction activities are ongoing in more than 40 villages, reflecting the scale and continuity of the reconstruction process. Hundreds of new houses are currently under construction as part of ongoing resettlement and infrastructure programs. More than 85,000 people are currently living, working, and studying in 10 cities, 3 towns, and 30 villages throughout the Karabakh and East Zangezur. Over 15,040 housing units have received reconstruction permits, while more than 30 schools and preschool institutions are already operating in the region, within over 4,000 children involved in the educational process. More than 2,100 students are currently studying at Karabakh University in Khankendi city. Modern healthcare facilities are under construction. So far, permits have been issued for 3 million square meters for construction. More than 40% of road projects and more than 70% of railway projects are already completed, while all 3 international airports are fully operational. Distinguished colleagues, the reconstruction of the liberated territories represents not only a large-scale national recovery effort, but also an opportunity to introduce new approaches to sustainable urban and regional development. Urban planners and architects from 12 different countries across the globe have participated in the process so far. Through integrated planning, modern infrastructure, environmental responsibility, and human-centered development, Azerbaijan is working to create resilient, connected, and future-oriented communities across Karabakh and East Zangezur. We highly value international dialogue, cooperation, and the exchange of experience within the platforms such as the World Urban Forum, which play an important role in shaping more sustainable and inclusive cities worldwide. Thank you for your attention.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much indeed for that comprehensive presentation. And now to expound on how connectivity drives investment and growth, I'd like to invite to the podium Mr. Mikhail Jabarov, Azerbaijan's Minister of Economy.
Honorable Madam Executive Director, distinguished colleague ministers, mayors, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure and honor to address this special session of Cities at the Heart of Connectivity, Urban Reconstruction and Regional Cooperation, hosted by Government of Azerbaijan within the framework of the World Urban Forum. I do believe that the theme of today's session is highly relevant for Azerbaijan, and particularly its capital, Baku, for which city which stood and continues to stand at the crossroads of civilizations, trade routes, and cultures. I will try to structure my remarks focusing on, and then of course, connecting the 5 main topics I'd like to address. I will speak about largest metropolitan area and of course largest economic actor in the country, which is Baku and Sumgait. I will touch upon liberated territories. Then I will speak about other parts of Azerbaijan. Role of governments and cities, which in my opinion shall not be overlooked. We shouldn't just talk about hard, but also think about soft side of implementing. And last but not the least, what are the challenges ahead and what are the ways to connect them. Madam Executive Director did touch upon, I think, very important topic, and the topic being how what we do, speaking of economy, on economic development side of the cities, how do we link connectivity to the ultimate goal, and this is a well-being of people. In case of Azerbaijan, I think for the context, this is a country which had a journey from 49% poverty rate to 5% poverty rate in less than 20 years. A country which in the meantime did address and resolve the most protracted and complicated territorial conflict within our broader region, and the country, as His Excellency President Aliyev was speaking about yesterday, and as Minister Bayramov did today, is actively engaged in rebuilding the new peace architecture in the region of Southern Caucasus and broader. And I do think that, in fact, the ultimate measure of success of any government's policy, but also for any city, is the quality of life of its residents, of the citizens of the nation. In case of Azerbaijan, we obviously have Baku and Sumgait area. These used to be and still are administratively 2 different cities, but when we look at the economic analysis and connectivity really had and continues to play a huge role here, this is the single largest economic area of Azerbaijan, with a significant share of gross domestic product, employment, urban planning and architecture masterpieces. There were specific references made by His Excellency President to projects like Seabreeze, which represents a sort of suburb/new city type of development, city in the city concept of white city, which presents a new way how we look at urban planning and architecture, but also projects in the pipeline. And I think most notable among ones that I will refer to is a similar city within the city concept that is being embarked upon with investors from the Middle East as we speak. And clearly, economic ecosystem of the cities, and I take Baku as an example, for the cities which have a population over 1 million people, and in our case we're talking roughly in the vicinity of 3 million people, which makes up for the roughly 30% of population of Azerbaijan. Clearly, the polycentric city approach that have been taken in the master plan of our capital does lead to the interrelated issues of the quality of life, quality of jobs, importance of the connectivity, common areas, and how can we capitalize and translate this into sustainable economic growth. Being the city within 2 hours flight, which is not only largest in terms of the size, but also with respect to the quality of infrastructure, economic opportunities, again, touristic, but also residential experience. Just like in the past, also for future, we do connect a significant part of economic development vision to mix of homegrown talent and attracted talent. This is especially important and more relevant not only in the context of geopolitical, let's say, challenges that the world, but specifically region, is faced with, but also not less importantly in the new economy that is driven by digital solutions, by increased mobility, where we continue to discuss friendshoring and nearshoring versus globalization or home-based security-based models. I think the choice that we are making in our economic policies is very clear, and this is the one that is built on the harmony and combination of the local talent and attracted talent. We do try to follow this up in our economic policies, which include but are not limited to infrastructural and legislative framework decisions such as a free economic zone adjacent to international Alat port, and we do believe with a new city development around it, but also with respect to the implementation and with respect to focusing on what we consider to be traditional strength. Clearly, the services sector, which does represent an important part of any city economy, same is true for Baku, calendar of events, entertainment, exhibitions, conferences, your daily life experience. These are the factors on which we do consider the strength of the economic proposition relies. My colleagues have spoken in details about liberated territories. Maybe a couple of sentences that I would like to say. The key word will be sustainability. President yesterday spoke very openly. He said, we not only have been making successes, we also have had our mistakes. But we did try to learn on our mistakes, and one of them was relating to how do we plan from economic viewpoint the great return. And the key question, of course, was related to the sequence of jobs, to the sequence of economic activity, and necessity to enable speediest return of returnees, people who have been away from their homes and villages for decades. For that purpose, for each city within liberated areas, the niche approach has been taken to ensure that from the very beginning the relevant government policies are aimed at supporting those type of economic activities for which we believe there was a higher economic chance of success. And of course the key challenge was to ensure that these works are not only done in parallel, but they're also done fast. The whole set of legislative measures aimed at the promotion of economic activity, including but not limited to tax exemptions, preferential loans, setting up of the industrial parks was put in place. What was in the center? Connectivity. I'm sure my colleague, Minister of Transport, will address it in further details, but ensuring that the access, be it through airports, be it roads, bridges, but also digital connectivity is there, and in a way it is waiting for people to return and not the other way around, was one of the solutions to unlock the speed element and quality element of the return. I wouldn't want to omit the focus on the role which connectivity plays also for the rest of the country, because of course if we look at current dynamics, we have more people living in the areas outside of Baku and Sumgait plus liberated areas than within them. That does explain why Azerbaijan had a natural immunity in a way, because if you look at the map, country is landlocked. We do realize it whenever we carry out our economic policies. Therefore, the notion of investing into connectivity is not limited within our borders. We did never shied away from ensuring the connectivity also to the world markets as implemented, as demonstrated by a number of projects. And the same view, of course, was within a country, and the focus was on the ensuring that the modern infrastructure for roads, railways, but again, I'm going back to soft infrastructure and connectivity as well was ensured. That did enable us to ensure that we combine the traditional strong sides of the city's economies, but also come up with some of the new ideas, something which we have not done before. If we go back to the example of liberated territories, idea of university city or university-based city for Karabakh universities in Khankendi was the first in modern history of Azerbaijan, when we believed that the economic activity may and can be built around academic activity. For different cities in Azerbaijan, for Ganja, for Nakhchivan, for Shaki, similarly, we try an approach of identifying where the traditional strength of the know-how and human capital lies, and how this can be reinforced in current economical conditions. I guess this leads me to my fourth point, which is what should be or what is the role of the central governments and what is the role of the cities in this to play. Is it sufficient to limit one's role to strategy and planning? Can you really stop at strategy and planning and not to go for implementation? If you do go for implementation, where do you stop? How do you ensure that the economic actors who are dealing with implementation are having a fair play within the economic competition? And I do think that these are the moments and elements which are relevant not only for city planners but also for city managers. Of course, this is the field and this is the area where permanent exchange of experience is extremely important and limited, and extremely important and necessary. Again, going back to decisions which are taken within Azerbaijan, we have started our ceremony with signing between Shusha and Trabzon. So we do have Institute of Special Representative of the President, and we do have an Institute of Head of the Executive Power. In fact, these are two parallel type of institutions which do have a different economic function to play, and this is one of the ways how the question that I posed is being addressed to enable the real-life test of the models that are being implemented. My last point, as I mentioned, is more forward-oriented, and I would allow myself to formulate it in a way: what does it take, or what shall it take to get us to quote-unquote success? And I do believe strongly that in case of Azerbaijan, this was whatever achievements were possible because of combination of high-level vision, quality, and continued focused and improvement of human capital, and last but certainly not the least, in continuous capacity building, because really the uncertainty continues to increase, and the more quality-based decentralization, the faster quality of the decisions to be taken on the ground. And by the way, every time when I use the word faster or slower, to us this does represent an element of connectivity as well. Because the speed of decision-making and quality of decision-making is directly relevant to the quality of the decision-making infrastructure that is being put in place. So with this, I once again would like to thank you all for your attention, and wish you to guests of Azerbaijan very enjoyable and productive stay in our country. Thank you.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. Our next speaker will explore how investments in transport corridors, smart mobility, digital infrastructure and urban planning are shaping connectivity and quality of life. Please welcome to the podium Mr. Rashad Nabiev, Minister of Digital Development and Transport.
Honourable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's also my pleasure to be here today, and let me start with a statement that for us, actually, transport corridors are not a line on the map. It's much bigger than that. It's a decision about how the people will be living in the next few decades, maybe even centuries. Every kilometer of rail, every meter of road that we build today are choices about how we're going to shape our future as well. By shaping our future, I also mean not only the societies, but also the ways we will be thinking, the way we will be delivering, and the way we will be building up our economic activity. We see connectivity as an investment in human potential, definitely, and it's not a surprise that Azerbaijan now sits at the crossroads of Eurasia. And since 2021, under the leadership of His Excellency, we have been able to make sure that all the transits which had an opportunity to bypass us didn't bypass us. And now we have seen almost twofold increase in the transit. And last year we witnessed around 17 million of tons moving through our territory. The Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railways connects now middle corridor, Central Asia, and the trains leaving China can reach now the border of Turkey only within the matter of 15 to 18 days. But corridors alone, from our standpoint, are not the whole story. The new logistic hubs, free economic zones, and urban centers are taking shape around them. So the question becomes, what kind of cities grown along the corridors, and how we are shaping these cities. Once again, under the leadership of His Excellency, when we started the transformation of the cities, Baku's urban mobility, and as well as public transportation, we didn't start with the projects. We actually put in front of us what are the goals of ours and how we're going to reach our goals, and that actually shaped everything else that I'm going to talk about. We set out that there should be shift of our citizens from private cars and taxis toward public transport. And we were very much criticized for that. At the time, there used to be around 67 thousands of taxis on the streets, and everyone was complaining about the quality, but at the same time, everyone was thinking about the social aspects of the story. But when we started, we had a clear evidence that if we change this, the roads will be much, much freer. And today, we have only 20,000 of taxis on the roads, and there is no social issue at the moment, just because we thought in a very thorough way that the taxi drivers at the time, they used to work up to 24 hours sometimes, which put our passengers in the danger. But today, their working hours are very much normalized, and they only work around 8 hours. Basically, if you take the numbers, 67,000 and 20,000, we actually didn't change the jump places. The jump places remained, but the quality of the services changed. To give our transformation, we also thought about the micromobility. And to give the micromobility the meaning, we gave the bicycles, scooters, and more importantly, our pedestrians, more opportunity to expand their activities. We also thought how it's going to impact the quality of our environmental matters. We also thought about how it's going to affect the CO2 emissions. And I will later on just talk about a little bit about the results, and I will mention how we have been managed to answer and to address this question. To move from a single city center, we also thought about how we can make city of Baku polycentric. And my dear colleague Anar Guliyev has already answered this. It's about the polycentric city. Basically, meaning that everyone has an opportunity now to reach the school, places of interest, cultural places, healthcare places, offices, within this short period of time. Are we there yet? No. There are a couple of answers to that was mentioned by His Excellency. Cities like White City and Sibris are great examples of Baku being polycentric. And one of the most important things that there used to be always some beliefs in the society that we have to build more roads. But world experience has shown to everyone and each of us that building more roads doesn't mean that we will be addressing the congestion on the streets. So basically, it didn't mean that we didn't think of the building the roads. We also thought about the building the roads, but we thought of the roads and the whole system in a very holistic ways. Basically, roads should be feeding the bus networks, bus should be feeding the rails, and rails should be feeding the metro. Each layer, from our perspective, should be reinforcing the next layer. And by doing that, we will have more holistic approach to the city's urban mobility. And today, when we sit down to decide where to spend the next dollar, we ask one question: what's the return on investment, which is, from our perspective, is very much measured in the minutes. What I mean by the minutes, it's how many less minutes our citizen spends on the city while driving to the school, while going to the healthcare centers, or even going to his job places. So we actually changed in our decision-making process the perception of $1 making sense return on investment to the $1 being equal to minutes of the personal life. So in the center of every decisions that we have made so far in the last 4 years, Azerbaijan citizen has been the main and important anchor. To reach a destination, you must first know where you are standing. From our point, if you want to move to or go and travel to any city, what you usually do, you put the city on the GPS, but you also have to know where you are. In other words, you have to measure where you stand today in order all your actions to be manageable and measurable and have specific KPIs. Because, I mean, we also acknowledge the fact that from the beginning there will be many mistakes, which we have also made, by the way, in the last 4 years. But those should be very much measurable, and in order to go back and know what should be changed, what should be delivered in a different way. And in order to do that, we came up with our colleagues from BCG, Boston Consultancy Group. I see some of them here, and I really thank them for being with us in this journey. We came up with an idea of building the Baku city's digital twin. I mean, maybe in some other societies it would have not been that much possible without going to the personal details of our citizens. We have managed to build the lake consisting of 10 billion unique data. We collected the data from mobile operators, we collected the data from the utility companies, we collected the data from the waste, we collected the data from the monitors of our surveillance, from our Ministry of Internal Affairs. We also went beyond that. We also made a lot of surveys about the pattern of our passengers and our citizens, how they travel and what their preferences are. And as of today, we have a very unique tool, which I will dare to say that not every country, even not every city has. And this kind of tool allows us to make the decision while building and where to build the stoplight and where to build the additional bus lane or where to build the bicycle lane, and knowing and forecasting how it's going to affect not the perimeter of that specific area, but also how it's going to affect the outskirts of the city of Baku. You can actually ask, what is the results we have been able to achieve as of today? When we started, there used to be 2 billion unique travelers from point A to point B within the city of Baku. And unfortunately for us, the number of travels taking place by cars and taxis used to be around 50% of all the travels. But by now, we have managed to bring it nearly to 40%, and our goal by the end of the 2030 to bring it to 30%. And when we started, we thought that it's very much ambitious, but as we move forward, as we start implementing these projects, this number seems very much feasible to us. When it comes to number of the deaths on the streets, when we started the project back in 2023, the numbers of deaths on the streets used to be around 9 per 100,000 inhabitants. And we have managed to bring it nearly to 7 as of today. And that's not the limit. We're aiming to reach number 4 by the end of 2030. And maybe by the year 2040, if we do everything in a proper way, in a very synchronized way with our fellow ministries and colleagues, we might be reaching around 2, which is a number of very advanced countries. And talking about all of this, our single ambition was to make the Baku the city of 20 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, to reach every single point within the 20 minutes. As of today, for those of you who has a travel challenges almost every day, might be seeming not that much feasible, but we do believe in this story. We do believe, and we are moving to that end. And how we're going to deliver this, it's going to be around 10 billion USD investment between now and the year 2030. We will be building additional 10 metro stations. If you take into account that as of today we have only 26, that's actually more or less 50% increase in the number of the metro stations. We used to have, when we started the project, around 1,700 buses on the streets, but as of today we have 2,350. But the number is, we are aiming is to reach around 3,000 by the year 2030, and we are not far away from that. And one of the important points I want to mention that it's not only done by the public investment, we're also attracting private investment as well. And if you look into the split of the market share between the public bus companies and also private bus companies, it's more or less 50-50. That's, by the way, one of the biggest challenges in our neighboring countries, and when we exchange our expertise and experiences, they always blame that they made a big mistake by not allowing the private sector into the market. I think it was a great and wise decision at the time to be taken several decades ago when we gained our independence, to allow the private sectors to enter the market. By doing that, now we have a kind of an instrument to make sure that where the comparative advantages and what's the cost efficiency between the private and public investment. And more than that, we are moving to the scheme which will be introduced by the end of this year, where for us as a regulator, it wouldn't really matter who carries our passengers. There will be a system where every passenger will be subsidized by kilometers run by the buses. That's we call the brutal system, and it's not far away to be accepted. As you can see from my title, I'm also the minister responsible for digital development, for innovation, and I work across these two responsibilities and trying actually, so I'm doing my best in a very synchronized way. And innovation ecosystem today not built on how much tax incentives you introduce in your country, how good your customs system. It's built from the talent. As my honorable colleague, Mr. Jabarov, has already mentioned, talent is today very much mobile in a way that engineers, founders of startups, researchers, designers, they live almost everywhere. Yeah? As we have seen from the example of Dubai and any other country which is not far away from us, we see that they really appreciate the quality of the life. By quality of the life, if I go back to the metrics which I have already mentioned, CO2 emission, number of the days on the streets, how fast and easily you can reach your job places, how fast you can reach the places of interest, those are biggest components of the quality of their life. And they choose increasingly livable cities, and the things which I've mentioned are important parts of being livable. So from our perspective, in order to build the innovation ecosystem, to make sure that this kind of a talent is attracted to our city, to our country, we should be working in a way to address these matters in a very holistic way, and alongside definitely introducing all the tax incentives and everything else. And our recent interactions with it's not a secret, with the companies who are thinking about leaving our immediate region, and specifically Gulf region in the recent few weeks, they once think, which were mentioned before making the decision to move their offices to anywhere around the world. It's definitely, once again, about the quality of the life in that or other city. And once again, I want to assure everyone sitting in this room, and as well as our partners who might be thinking of moving to Baku, that we do have a holistic plan and we do have a vision how Baku will be most livable city and friendly city, not only in our region, but on the planet. Thank you.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. Of course, underpinning all of this is green energy and energy security to help shape these modern urban systems that we're discussing. To talk on that subject, I'm delighted now to welcome to the podium Mr. Parvez Shahbazov, Azerbaijan's Minister of Energy.
Dear colleagues, ministers, excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to greet you all at this important session organized within the framework of the 13th session of the World Urban Forum in Baku. Azerbaijan's hosting of another major global platform following COP29 once again demonstrates that our country has become an active participant not only in the global energy security agenda, but also with regard to sustainable urbanization, green transition, and regional connectivity. Connectivity holds special strategic significance in the evolving geopolitical and geoeconomic landscape. Energy lines, transport corridors, fiber optic cables, and electricity interconnectors are becoming the new arteries of the global system. As international experts also emphasize, the 21st century has already become the century of connectivity. Connectivity today means not only infrastructure and trade, but also resilience, stability, and stronger regional cooperation. Located at the crossroads of East and West and North and South, Azerbaijan is evolving into one of Eurasia's main hubs of connectivity and cooperation under the visionary policy of the President of Azerbaijan, His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, whose strategic approach brings together energy security, green development, regional integration, and peace building. Having identified clean environment and green growth as one of the key priorities of its socio-economic development strategy, Azerbaijan pursues an energy policy in close alignment with urbanization and regional integration at a time when the electrification of transport, data centers, artificial intelligence, and the digital economy is rapidly increasing urban energy demand. Currently, projects aimed at developing approximately 8 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity are under implementation in Azerbaijan, and around 2 gigawatt of this capacity will be integrated into the national energy system by next year. This is not only an expansion of power generation, it represents a new industrial transformation and an annual reduction of 2.4 million tons of emissions. Furthermore, Azerbaijan has established institutional mechanisms in the field of energy efficiency, one of the core principles of modern urban governance, including the creating of an energy efficiency fund. Such measures contribute to reducing energy consumption and losses, improving the efficient management of resources, and developing smart urban infrastructure. We pursue the dual objective of expanding investment inflows and delivering tangible, measurable outcomes in the field of energy efficiency. The cities of the future will create more value with less energy, due mainly to energy efficiency and green technologies. The reconstruction in the liberated territories is a clear example of this approach. There, we are not merely restoring infrastructure, we are building the cities of the future. In these territories, smart cities, smart villages, green energy zones, energy-efficient infrastructure, and digital governance systems are being implemented as a unified concept. President Ilham Aliyev's declaration of Karabakh and East Zangezur as a green energy zone with a 2050 net zero target is a manifestation of precisely this strategic vision. In these territories, 38 hydropower plants with a total capacity of 307 megawatt are currently in operation. Solar power plants with a capacity of 340 megawatt are under construction. Rooftop solar panels with a capacity of 7,000 kilowatt have been installed, and assessment works are underway for the construction of a 240 megawatt wind power plant. By 2030, the planned deployment of 1,650 megawatt of renewable energy capacity is expected to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 2 million tons annually. The green energy zone concept being proven in the liberated territories is already expanding into the Nakhchivan region of Azerbaijan. Today, it is becoming increasingly clear that the cities of the future will not be defined by the height of their buildings, but by the strength of their connections, and at the heart of these connections lies energy. Positioned at the crossroads of Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East, Azerbaijan plays a key role in building this future by becoming a strategic hub for regional energy and green electricity connectivity. This role is further strengthened by the development of the Middle Corridor and the Zangezur Corridor, which is to become one of the key segments of the former. Azerbaijan's green energy connectivity initiatives integrating Central Asia, the South Caucasus, Turkey and Europe are laying the foundations of a new energy cooperation architecture. Through their fiber optic components, these projects will also ensure digital connectivity across a wide region. Today, successful cities are no longer defined by size alone. They are defined by resilience, innovation, sustainability, and integration. Azerbaijan is proud to contribute to building such cities and to advancing partnerships that will connect this and strengthen them across our region and beyond. Thank you very much, and I wish successful session and meaningful exchanges during this conference. Thank you.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. Before we move on to the next section of the event, Excellencies, Ministers, I'd like to pass on my thanks for your insightful and detailed presentations. Could you all please show your appreciation for our leaders up here today? Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we're going to take a very short 2-minute break now, and we'll get set up for a fascinating discussion, just 2 minutes' time. By the way, is anybody else a bit warm? It's quite hot, isn't it? Okay. Can we do what we can to get a bit of a through draft going through so people don't collapse? Thank you very much.